This is episode 10 of the Brand Authority Podcast. Today, we're talking about how to build social media influence. Stick around.
This is the Brand Authority Podcast, the show for growth-driven leaders who want to win more customers, increase revenue, and gain the competitive edge. Broadcasting from sunny Los Angeles, here's your host, Rebecca Radice.
Well, hello, and welcome back. Thanks for joining the conversation here on the Brand Authority Podcast. You know, I mentioned this episode is all about influence, authority, credibility, what it takes to build it within your business. Now, I know before we jump into this and start to dissect what this really looks like, it's a huge topic, right? It's tossed around everywhere these days. It's very trendy. But, you know, for all that it's talked about, I think the problem is so many think that, not even think that, now that I think about it, they expect it to happen overnight, right? They think that it's just going to magically appear. And the truth is that building authority, building credibility, building influence, it all takes time. It takes time for you to establish your leadership role within that space and then to nurture those relationships that are going to help you grow your online influence. And just like a plant requires constant care, and no, I am no green thumb, but I do love my plants. Your online brand also and your social media presence also require your constant care. So I'm not going to give you a quick fix here today. I'm not going to give you that magic pill that's going to create influence, but I am going to show you that it is possible to do it if you put the right plan and the right process in place. All right, so let's dive in and talk about step number one. Number one, if you want to build influence, if you want to build authority within your space, it really all comes down to content, and you have to make your content ridiculously valuable. And I talk about this a lot, but the single most effective way to build loyalty, to build trust with your audience is to share not only ridiculously valuable, but the right ridiculously valuable type of content. And, you know, we talk about this in so many different aspects. My sister, who founded a animal rescue, I was speaking with her the other day, and she was talking about the difference between one dog over another and why one person chooses that particular dog over the other. And I said, you know, it's just like anything else. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So for me, one dog is beautiful, whereas another dog, I'm like, he's cute, but not necessarily my kind of dog. So for your audience, it's the same situation where beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And so the value of your content has everything to do with you targeting the right audience with the right type of content. So you can make use of everything you've learned over the years, all of those skills, that experience, and then give that away through maybe a series of useful tips. Whether it's a video tutorial, if you like to use video, and you definitely should. Video is hot. I don't care what social channel you're on. Maybe it's Facebook Live that you decide to use. So you use Facebook live video to show them a simple how-to. Maybe it's behind the scenes to show them how you build something or how you use something very specifically within your business. Whatever the case is, make use of your skills, your talent, your know-how, and then make use of all that's available to us within social media. So use those social channels, use those those tools that they give you, like Facebook Live or going live on Instagram or Instagram stories. So many different ways to package up your expertise and share that with your audience. You can also repurpose content into snippets of content, valuable content like, okay, for example, you could have a past newsletter or a past email series where you take those and all of a sudden you repackage those up into little bite-sized tips that you share across all of your social channels. Whether it's information that saves your audience money, maybe helps them make money, or win in a really important negotiation, you want to keep them tuned in. So keep them coming back. You're training them in what type of content you're sharing, what kind of information you're offering so that they want to come back. You're setting off those triggers in their brain where they recognize, oh, wait a second, this is exactly what I'm looking for. It's exactly what I needed to solve this particular problem within my business, and you want to keep them coming back for more. Step number 2 to building influence and really creating that momentum after you've been posting content. People are really starting to get a feel for what type of content you post, your personality, so who you are, what makes up your brand and your business. Now you want to make sure that you're posting it when they're actually online. So step number 2 is taking a look at when is your audience actually interacting with your content, and so posting it at a very timely moment. As we know, you can post all day long. You could post 400,000 things over the next week, but none of it matters if your audience isn't paying attention. So think about, who is your audience? Are they business professionals? And if so, it could be that between 9 and 5, they're pretty wrapped up within their job, or it could be that they're in meetings and you need to catch them as they're coming out of a meeting, which could be they're meeting at the top of the hour, and so at the bottom of the hour they're coming out of their meetings and they're checking their phones, they're getting on their mobile devices, and now they're looking at Instagram, at Facebook, at Twitter. So you're timing it out based on not only their industry and their profession, but also what goes on in their world. So their habits as to when they're focused on business and then when they're checking in on their mobile device. Step number 3 is to make sure you're staying on top of the trends within your industry, because as a thought leader, as somebody that's building influence, you want to be at the forefront of what's going on. You want to constantly be looking ahead at assessing what's happening within your industry and then breaking that down for your readership, for your listeners, for your followers. So it's not just simply pushing out content, but really piecing it out for them in a way that makes sense, that says, hey, here's what's coming, here's what's happening, here's what's trending, and here's why it matters most to you. So it's injecting your thought process. It's really putting your spin on something out there that says to people, not only this is why you should care, but here's how you're going to use this within your business. So there's several reasons, 3 to be specific, of why you should stay on top of current events within your industry and then share that information on a consistent basis. And number 1 is sharing hot news and something that is actually trending right at that moment that's relevant to your business. It's going to help you capitalize on the conversations that are happening in real time. So they're happening right now in your field, in your industry, and you know what happens with that. We get kind of emotional. We start to feed into that conversation. So think of it as maybe an old school water cooler back in the day when we were standing around and we were talking about maybe the latest show or the latest movie or what had gone on in politics. Goodness gracious, that's all we seem to talk about these days on social media. So whatever it is that's happening that's important to your industry, use social media as your own water cooler. It's a virtual way for your fans to discuss their thoughts with others, with people that have the same interests that they do. And then this is going to help you translate that particular instant into a relevant topic for your audience. So you start to organically show up in their news feed, in others' news feeds, as they're commenting and they're liking and they're interacting with your content. And then number 2, sharing trending or hot topics lets you add context around that content. So you're adding your own thoughts and you're giving your valuable feedback instead of, like I said, just pushing out that content. And then third, when you post timely content that your audience finds interesting, they find it relevant to their business, they're going to be more inclined to actually share that. And sharing, just like commenting or liking a post, is going to increase your reach. It's going to help you build that influence, that momentum. And over on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, it's all about that engagement. Next up is building connections with like-minded business professionals. If you want to build your influence, you are going to have to connect with other business professionals that are talking about the same things that you are, that are connecting with the same people that you are. And oftentimes I find that this is kind of counterintuitive. So many people that I work with and discuss building influence and help them on their journey to really building credibility within their industry, they think, well, whoa. Why in the world would I want to make connections with people that are supposedly my competitors? But in the online world, your relationships, they're everything. And social media, it's an excellent way for you to connect with those exact people, those like-minded business professionals that you can reach out to. You can start to share their content. You can start to reply to their content, start to engage in conversations and build those mutually beneficial relationships. But I will caution you, there are right ways and there are wrong ways to go about doing this. So let's first start with the right way. Start out with the positive. So strategically reaching out to people within your industry, your niche, or your community would be the right way. The wrong way would be randomly sending out requests or long drawn out DMs with no prior relationship that simply add to your numbers. We are not building huge numbers. That's not what you need to build influence. What you need is important relationships that are built on value. And that means you're going to have to take the time to get to know people. And then finally, if you want to build influence within your niche, within your market, you have to become collaborative with your audience. You actually have to engage with your audience. And I think one of the greatest things, or one of the greatest benefits of social media marketing is your ability to stop speaking at your audience and actually speak with them. You're having a conversation with them because you're an active participant. You're actually involved in that conversation. And too often I see brands and businesses alike that spend so much time creating and finding great content that they miss out on the relationship building aspect of social media. So for you, what you want to do is you want to focus on paying attention to what your fans, to what your followers and your clients are saying about you or your company. So it's actually listening to what's going on with that conversation on social media, and then taking the time to inject yourself into that conversation. So this could look like you responding to questions with helpful comments, maybe timely information. So you respond back and you say, you know what, I haven't written anything about that. Maybe you're a blogger and they're asking for a solution to a problem. And you say, but you know what, so-and-so actually has. So you're becoming a valuable resource and you're building bridges all at the same time. There are some terrific tools out there, tools like Mention, tools like Brand24, tools like Sprout Social that all help you listen, monitor, and effectively get back to people in a very real and emotional way where they can hear in your tone of voice, they can hear in your response that you actually care, that you're actually taking the time to go find information that helps them out. But whatever the case, just start today. Start to collaborate and engage with your audience. I guarantee that that one thing is going to help you to start to build your influence. So there you have it, multiple ways that you can start to build your influence within your industry, within your niche, and it really all begins and ends with having a conversation. People want to know that you're real, that there's a real human being behind the brand, and they also want to know that you care. As the saying goes, people will not care about you until you show that you care about them. And you can do that so well by just taking 5 minutes out of your day to get yourself involved in the conversation happening on social media. So thanks as always for listening to the Brand Authority podcast. If you haven't already downloaded your copy of my daily social media checklist, you can find that in the show notes. And it is always free to you and free to you to download. It is such a great way for you to start to focus on the right things within your business. So taking the right actions every single day. I've also included any other resources I mentioned in the show notes and also on the blog. Oh, and if you have a topic or question you'd like me to focus on or answer in an upcoming show, just go ahead and email my team at marketing@RebeccaRadice.com. Until next time, have fun building your influence on social media and building a brand that makes you leap out of bed with energy and enthusiasm every day. See you soon.